welcome to my channel. Today I have a new stretching video for you, piercing stretching video. And yeah, today, because I'm very well prepared, I'm actually going to do it not the complete official way. Like what I like to do is just immediately put a plug in it, a metal plug that's just safe to use and that's just, you know, cheap and just something that I can leave in there for a month while it's healing. Or at least healing is while it's getting used to its new size. However, I realized when I started filming this video that I'd actually forgotten to actually buy tunnels in 5mm. Oops. I do actually have jewelry in 5mm, but one of them is a double flared piece of jewelry, and as you can see, it's like the middle part is 5mm, but the outer flares are bigger. So that's useful for if your piercing is already well and stretched and completely comfortable at its new size. And you can just, you know, wiggle it through there. However, for a freshly stretched piercing, you don't want to stretch it out even more to get jewelry through. So that's not an option. Luckily, I also have these glass spirals. I wouldn't actually recommend using these for like freshly stretched piercings. For the simple reason that they are quite big. However, I know myself and I know I won't get caught behind it myself. So I'm going to use this. Because, you know, I did order, actually, I'm going to wear these until tomorrow and hopefully the right size of plugs are going to arrive. And then I'm going to use, you know, plugs that are exactly the same as these, but only a size bigger, so they're just, you know, easier to really just leave in there while it's recovering and just getting used to a size. Yeah, so that's one thing, by the way, that is quite important when you're stretching. I don't think I mentioned that in the other videos I did about stretching so far, but, you know, materials that are safe for freshly stretched piercings are glass and metal, basically. I don't know about, like, horn and bone and stuff like that. Actually, I have no idea. But I do know that, for example, wood is not a good idea to put in a freshly stretched piercing because of two reasons. Yes, I pointed up the right amount of fingers this time. A rare thing. Anyway, because wood, for one, it can actually dry out the piercing hole. And if your piercing is completely healed, if your stretch is completely healed, you know, you might just have no problems with it at all. Some people don't, some people do, but you kind of have to figure that out yourself for your own body. However, on a freshly stretched piercing, it's also very possible that it will actually get stuck in there. Like, it will sort of suck itself in there. It's a weird thing, but it can get stuck. And I obviously never had that happening to me, and it doesn't sound like something I would want to have happening to me. So I don't recommend using wood in a freshly stretched piercing. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I do actually have a taper. That's one thing you do actually really need for stretching a piercing, a taper. But yeah, I'm just going to stretch the piercing, put this in and then switch it for a little plug for just as soon as the plug arrives. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. For stretching a piercing, in case you haven't seen my other videos on stretching, it is a good idea to also have, you know, other stuff around, like, you know, the stretching thing, the taper, I mean, the jewelry, and also I like to have rubbing alcohol around just to disinfect stuff. And also it's a good idea to have something of a lubricant like jojoba oil or coconut oil, anything that's like safe. Obviously don't use like cooking oil or something. Just to make it easier to slide it through the piercing. And yeah, let's get on to it. Okay, I pulled you up a little bit closer. Don't be startled by my oily skin. It's the end of the day and it's really warm outside. But yeah, first thing I'm going to do is take out this jewelry. While the jewelry is out, it's a good moment to really clean out the hole really well, because, you know, that skin is going to heap up there, it might smell bad, and, you know, also whenever you take a shower, do always make sure to rinse out your piercings as well. Like, you don't always need to take out the entire jewelry, but, you know. So I sprayed in the taper with rubbing alcohol and also the jewelry that I'm going to put in. Also, I forgot to mention this, but I also washed my hands, obviously. Either with, I'm missing a nail, I know. Either with like a disinfecting gel or just regular hand washing with water and all. Just make sure you're clean before starting this. Then the whole idea is to just very gently shove the jewelry through there. Never push if it hurts. Just if it hurts, stop for a moment, give it a few minutes. go take a shower so your skin just gets a little bit softer and all. You know, just give it some time. But if it hurts, never keep pushing through because you don't want to tear anything. Okay, so that went well. Obviously it did not hurt. It just slided through there normally. Like, I did feel like I had to go a little bit slower this time than the past 3 times, but I don't know, it still went very easily, so that's good. Okay, so the jewelry is in there. It's absolutely gorgeous. I got it off all over piercings.nl, by the way, in case you're wondering. I do notice now that I have it in there, the one downside is that I can't actually tell what the broadest part is of the spiral. So just to be sure, tomorrow when I get the actual tunnel, I am going to put this one through it first again, just to make sure that it didn't shrink or anything, before I put the tunnel through. So then we're left with freshly stretched piercings. I really like how these look. However, again, considering there are real gloss. I always have issues with the word gloss for some reason. I am actually really going to just switch them for the, you know, tunnels when they arrive tomorrow, because I don't want these to break. But yeah, also, about the whole, like, after stretching process. Obviously, what I'm going to do once I switch them to the actual jewelry I want them to heal with, I'm just going to leave them alone for a month so they can get used to the new size. Just, you know, recover from being stretched. And yeah, then after that I'll stretch to 6mm, and that's going to be my end size. Do make sure you always give yourself, or rather your piercing, a month to recover. Just to make sure that your ears are, like, you know, fully adjusted and are ready for the next stretching turn. And yeah, other than that, that was all I have to say about stretching today. If you have any other questions about stretching, obviously I'm a rookie, like this is my first stretching project overall. But I'll try to give you a useful answer if you ask me a question. Other than that, I thought it'd be useful to just take this opportunity, now that it's summer anyway, I'm doing a piercing video, to also share some tips and tricks about swimming and piercings. Because lately I have been getting more questions about that on my channel. You know, considering the fact that it's summer and most people like to go swimming in summer. I gotta admit, I'm not really someone who enjoys swimming. I don't like it when my hair gets wet. I don't like it when my face gets wet. I always get cramps in my legs, so swimming is just not something I very much enjoy. However, like, even in theme parks, in like some theme park rides, you can get wet and your piercings can get wet. So I thought it'd just be useful to, you know, give you some tips and tricks. For starters, fresh piercings, I do get the question a lot. If you have a fresh piercing, it's not a good idea to go swimming with it. Some piercers say don't go swimming for a week, some say 2 weeks. I have even heard people say a month. Me personally, to me, it always matters what piercing was fresh. Like, with my ear piercings, I'm less difficult. With my belly button piercing, simply because for my ear piercings, it's easier to keep them dry. If I keep my head above the water, then my ears aren't going to get wet. Whereas with my belly button piercing, it's sort of difficult to go swimming and not get your stomach wet. Like, that's physically very difficult. So yeah, that does make a difference to me. And yeah. So I personally just recommend to not go swimming for a week while the piercing is still fresh, because the wound is still open and bacteria and all are just very... Yeah, this is very much a risk of getting those in there, and you don't want bacteria in your fresh piercing, obviously. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend, to just not go swimming for a week. But if you are going to like a theme park with a lot of water stuff and all, I can imagine you not wanting to say to your friends, okay, go without me. You know, it's not something where most people go often, so I can imagine not wanting to skip that. And if it's also not an option to just have the piercing afterwards instead of before it, I would really advise you just try to keep the piercing as dry as possible and also bring either an alcohol spray or a sea salt solution. Me personally, I would go for the lazy path, buy a bottle. Actually, I always buy those little bottles of rubbing alcohol that are not the spray bottle ones, and this was just a separate spray bottle that I once bought somewhere in a travel set. Poured it in there. The only thing is, seeing as the rubbing alcohol was originally in a sort of darkened bottle, I think it's not supposed to be in direct sunlight, so I tried to keep this out of the sun, obviously. But what you could also do is just make your own sea salt solution that is more gentle for the piercing, so I would actually recommend doing that. Make your own sea salt solution, let it cool down, don't pour the water in the plastic bottle while it's really hot, because the plastic might melt. Let it cool down, put it in the bottle and bring that along, just so that after the whatever you did to make the piercing wet, you can actually just spray it and clean it that way. Also, after swimming or anything else, just make sure you clean your piercing either underneath the shower or with a bottle of fresh water. Also bring some tissue so you can very carefully clean the piercing, especially at a theme park or something, because you don't want to have with those hand dryer, blow drying things, you don't want to have to keep your ear underneath it awkwardly or something. That'd be awkward. So yeah, bring something to dry your piercings with as well. And yeah, I think that's just really all the advice I can give you on the subject of water versus piercings, swimming versus piercings, because like I said, I'm just not much of a swimmer. And that I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please click the like button, it would really help me out. And if you want to, you can also subscribe to my channel. I try to do piercing videos every now and then. I do really enjoy doing them. I just don't always, I can't always think of a subject. So if you have any sort of subject that you'd like me to do a piercing video about, please tell me. And if I actually have something useful to say about it, I'll do a video. Other than that, I do a lot of makeup tutorials as well. Also below the video, I'll put a list of the stuff that I've used for this stretching video. And also I'll link to the actual tunnels that I ordered to put in here. No, that I was supposed to put in here today. Below the video you can also find a full list of all my social media accounts and names. I'm mostly active on Instagram and I'd really love it if you want to follow me there. Because I always share it there whenever I upload a new video as well. And yeah, that's literally all I have to say today. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you'll have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!